It is so good to have you aboard with me again today. My name's Mr. Gravy, and I have another very special video where I sit down with MLB The Show's top content creators, and today I have the amazing opportunity to sit down with none other than Mr. Moneyball himself, Ance Larmstrong. Ance, let me just say thank you so much for taking time out of your day in this week to sit here and talk with me.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I've seen some of the stuff you've done in the past. I was a real big fan of it. I'm excited for this opportunity. It's gonna be a good time.
That really means the world. So I really, before we get into anything too deep, obviously your name correlates very closely with a very famous biker. Talk about your name and what made you come up with Ance Larmstrong.
Yeah, so I'm from Texas, so obviously, you know, in the height of the Lance Armstrong era, it was a big deal in Texas. And I remember I would wake up elementary school, middle school kid during the summer, and I'm waking up at 6 a.m. to watch, you know, the Tour de France, you know, happening, going off over there. And so from that, I kind of really started enjoying cycling. I got really big into that. And I actually raced while I was in college. I was part of the team. I was president of the team for a while. And so I got my PS4 like my junior year of college. And so I was kind of like deep in the racing at that point. And so I was like, well, that'd be kind of like a fun little, I wanted a little play on words. I was like, that'd be a fun little play on words. We'll do Ance Armstrong. And then thankfully it was playable, and then, you know, rest is history. So
yeah. How cool is that? Okay, so do you still do any cycling stuff or anything?
I do a little bit. I don't as much as I'd like to anymore. But I ride every once in a while. I always have a thought to try to get back into it, but you know, finding the time and to do all that, it's a commitment. But one day. The good thing about, you know, you can ride a bike even if you're 85 years old. So. There you go. Hopefully I have a lot of time to do so at some point.
That's the good mentality to have then. So you've been playing the show for how long then?
Forever. I mean, since I'm the first one was probably on PS2, probably maybe like 06, 07 maybe, one of those. I think David Wright was on the cover of 06 maybe, and that may have been the first one.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly, but pretty much since MLB The Show has been MLB The Show, or what it was before, it was like it would be MLB 06, the show, before they kind of adjusted it a little bit. But I mean, yeah, really forever, pretty much.
So you've been playing baseball games forever then, it seems.
Yeah, I think my first baseball game that I vividly remember was Triple Play 2002.
Triple Play.
And it had the sick intro with the Magic Carpet Ride song, and I would just sit there and play that all day.
Oh my God! Wow, I forgot. I think that was on PC, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Dude,
PC.
Oh my God.
It's on PC.
Oh wow, yeah, I remember those days. I also played a bunch of All-Star Baseball growing up. I don't know if you ever played that one series.
I think I did.
And yeah, sometimes I missed the Slugfest series. You ever play that one?
I love Slugfest. There's nothing better than putting in like the cheat codes and getting like the huge bat and make your guys like minotaurs and then just going and beating everybody up. Loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Hitting a single, then punching the guy in the stomach. Yeah, I don't know how that was ever put out there, but so anyway, yeah. So all right, so MLB 20 is a different game compared to some of the other MLBs lately. They've made quite a bit of changes going into this year. Did you have any specific goals or something you really wanted to accomplish when you started playing this year?
Honestly, not really. Kind of from the get, I wasn't sure. You know, I play every year, and I wasn't sure, you know, how much I was going to play because, you know, MLB 19 was more. I played it a ton. I mean, I have hundreds of hours from it. I have, you know, Honus Wagner, Willie Mays, all the likes there. But it was kind of more of like a secondary game for me because I was playing and streaming, creating content for a different game. So it'll be 20. I was like, well, I'm going to stream it a little bit, but I don't really know, you know, what we're going to do there. And then one thing kind of led to the next, and I was playing it every single day for, you know, 4 to 5 hours a day. And so, and then at that point, I was like, okay, well, let's try to get Mickey Mantle just as quick as possible. So I ended up getting him like second inning program. The day of the second inning program, I ended up getting him, which was pretty. I mean, there were people who were quicker, but no money spent. That was certainly the fastest I've ever done a collection or anything there. And then it just kind of became, okay, let's just try to make as many subs as possible and then spin those on packs and pull Mike Trout a couple times, you know?
Oh yeah, you're going
casual.
fishing.
I'm up to 6.
You have 6 Mike Trout pulls? Are you serious? I'm up to 6.
Before this year, I've only pulled them once, and I pulled them 6 times this year.
How many packs have you think you ripped this year?
Oh, I dumb them out. Just
A dump.
thousands. I mean, literally, after I got Mickey Mantle, I got Mickey Mantle and then I did the prospect collection. And after that, it's just like I get a couple thousand subs, spit them on packs. But I'm saving now. I'm doing better. I'm at like 1,000,000 subs right now. I'm saving
You're
up.
recovering. You're
I
recovering.
recovered a little bit. Now that once they went packs were half off, I can't go back and spend 75K on a 50 bundle now. I just can't.
I hear you there.
Can't
I
do it.
do.
I can rip those half off packs all day though.
I like that. So, well, what are your feelings on the gameplay this year, and just kind of the general, some of the general changes they made?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely better now than where it was like a couple weeks after release. There was a stretch there where I could do moments of showdowns because like the fielding what got to me a while. It was, and we've had fielding issues in the past, and a lot of times you see a lot of people take like bad angles to the ball, but this year it's just like you just can't catch anything. Who knows? Who knows? And I run into a couple issues every once in a while still, but once they got the fielding in a better spot, I feel a little bit better about the game. Obviously, it's not perfect. There's issues. I enjoy pitching a lot. I wish pitching had a higher like skill ceiling and more input, which I think a lot of people think that. I'm hoping in the next coming years, maybe going to PS5 with get some new engines in there or something that can help out pitching. Because honestly, I mean, it's a hitter's game. You know what I mean? And my reflexes are they're going downhill. I need the pitching side of thing to get a little bit better so I can have an advantage somewhere
and control the game a little bit more. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Okay, so you talked about getting Mickey Mantle by the second inning collection. So that didn't take you very long in a no money spent format. So what were your biggest, I guess, strategies for getting Mickey?
Yeah, I think the big thing was at the start, I spent some time flipping was one of the big, just to make sure I have subs. And then I think one thing that really keeps you from getting a card like Mickey Mantle is like if you're just starting out and you sit back and you're like, bro, I have so much to do. I mean, there's no way I can get Trout and Arenado and Bellinger and everybody. And so what I would do is instead of getting Mickey Mantle, I would I'm just trying to finish the AL East. I just want Alomar out of my squad. I'm not trying to get Mantle, I'm just trying to do AL East. So if I kind of piece it out like that, next thing you know, I have AL East and Central done, and I'm only the West away from completing the American League. And then once you get one league done, it's like, well, I'm halfway there. So it's just kind of piecing it out instead of trying to get everything at once. Just kind of getting the small victories. Kind of keep, half of it's mental. I think you just gotta. If you're in the right mindset, you can definitely make it happen. So that was part of it for me. Is just piecing it out piece by piece, and then I would even take that to the next level. And any card that wasn't, if I was going for the AL East, any card non-AL East I sell. Doesn't if it could be a common, it could be a diamond, bronze. I would go through and sell. My inventory would have 0 people except for the cards in the AL East I'm trying to collect, and then I'd do that division by division. Basically, so I'd have as many subs possible to tackle those things and actually be able to accomplish it instead of trying to go for everything at once.
That makes sense because you're kind of leaving yourself with more room to work with.
Right. And then, of course, outside of really high diamonds, everything goes down over time, too. So if I pull a Yelich in the first week of the game, I can collect him, or I could sell him for 50K, complete some other collections, and then when I go back and buy him a month later, he's like 25, and I save, that many stubs.
Yeah, no,
that's
that
kind
makes
of half of it as well.
And you hit on this with your video. It's the quickest way to get Mickey Mantle with no money spent in MLB The Show 20, which link in the description below for those of you who haven't seen it. And really, you kind of did. You turned it into a mental game, and that goes a long way for you. But I guess one of the things that I think people miss out on with that though is that's all fine and well, but how do I really make the actual stubs? Because like you do have to get a little bit lucky, right, with packs to a degree.
It can help for sure.
Yeah, but so like when you work the market and stuff like that, and I know you're not going to be able to give away all your secrets because that would be ridiculous. But for people who don't work the market at all and are intimidated by the market, what kind of tips would you have for them?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll say this. Actually, I have no secrets when I work the market. Anything I do, I don't necessarily do it while I'm streaming because then I tried it before, and if there's like 150 people watching, it's kind of like a weird flex. But it's just like I'll go place an order for somebody for like 1,100 stubs, and then I go back 5 minutes later, he's up to like 1,200 because you got a lot of people on. And they're like, that's what Ance is going for. We're gonna, we're all trying to do that as well. But like, anything on my YouTube videos that I talk about for investing, that's the cards I actually go after myself. So I think investing for me has been more beneficial than flipping in terms of being able to read the market and see, okay, which cards are going to change as they go forward board. That's a big one in terms of, being able to use the subs I have to accumulate more subs. But then in terms of just getting subs, I mean, events have been huge this year for stubs.
Yeah.
With all the player cards and packs. I remember from an event pack, this is my only double diamond I've ever had. From an event pack, it was a headliner pack, and maybe like the first event, I got a diamond equipment and an Arenado out of it.
Oh, wow.
From a free pack, so things like that. The conquests, all the free packs and subs and conquests, and then the inning programs. So whenever I got Mantle was the second inning program, and I just sold Hanley Ramirez for $225K, and that was the stubs that allowed me to finish up the NL East and get Mantle at that point. So kind of, I have a kind of saying, it's just like taking what the game gives you. The game provides a ton of free packs and stubs and XP through the XP reward path or the events or the inning programs or conquests, and then use those stubs, maybe do some little investments here and there, maybe double up your stubs, and then, you're kind of sitting pretty at that point. The ball kind of starts rolling there, you get the momentum going.
So you're playing with any opportunity the show gives you, and you try to take as good advantage of it as completely possible.
Yeah. Like, a big one is, like the Jackie Robinson program. I mean, there's a ton of, that's one of like the most rewarding things in the game between all the packs and subs, or like the team affinities. I haven't done the math now with TA3, but I remember I did it with TA2, and it's, between the first two stages of team affinity, you have several hundred packs, like 90, 120,000 stubs, XP, the player cards. I mean, it's a ridiculous amount of just like rewards. I think if you were to start from the day and only do team affinities and get every team into stage 3, which would be like a long grind, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think you would have enough to get like Mantle 2 times over.
Really?
With the amount of stubs you get.
And
with how the market's kind of gone down recently, Mantle's like 800K, I think now. So maybe not 2 times over. But you'd have way more than enough subs to get Mantle. Now, of course, that's a long grind and a lot. But that's all just, you're not even having to do any flipping or investments. That's just playing the game at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, though, the programs this year have been absolutely stellar. That's been a huge plus with content this year. I'm curious to know, though, they did make a pretty significant change to the No Money Spent crew. You can no longer quick sell anybody that you've locked in. Originally, how did you feel about it? And then now, how do you feel about it now?
Originally, I was probably kind of indifferent. I never really quick sold a lot of guys anyway. I kind of like being able to have them, in my inventory. I would at some points, but now I actually kind of like how there's not a decision there, because I probably would go through and quick sell some guys and get some subs, but it's like, it's kind of cool to be able to go back and say, okay, I can look through my inventory and I have all the cards there. And I think another thing, in terms of how it would affect collection prices, I don't think it necessarily impacts that too much. And it does a little bit, but if everybody were to go through and quick sell cards, let's say I went through and quick sold all my diamonds and had, another 90, 100K, that's another 90, 100K to go spend on cards, and so card prices would just be more expensive then. So I think it kind of evens out at the end of the day. It may be a little bit more expensive, but I don't think it's too much of a difference for me. I mean, I was able to get it quicker this year than I did last year with that, and the market is really, really low, right now over the last week or so. So I don't think it's made too big of an impact, and I kind of, at the end of the day, I kind of like being forced to keep all the cards. Like with TA3, I like that there's the option to sell, because I think it's great, give people that freedom, but I don't like that I have to then make a decision if I want to sell or keep all the cards, and then I have to.
It is a little tough, yeah,
definitely. It's tough, but I do like that those cards are sellable, I think, especially as a no money spend player. Just another avenue to get, an insane amount of stubs. If you were going for Mantle and you didn't want those cards, you could sell them and make a good chunk of change.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. And so with that, is there a card so far that's really come out that's like your favorite card that you love using that you would never give away?
I mean, the big, forehead answer is Mickey Mantle, because he's been insane. I think he's one of the best cards in the game's history.
Really? That good?
I think, especially, I just got on Prestige during the last event too. And so he's been, I think outside of that, I really, really like the player of the month, Cody Bellinger. I swing really well with him. He has the defense. I was playing a game the other day. It was at Ship It, so it's not a huge outfield, but it was about 3 to 4 steps in front of the warning track. Fly ball, Bellinger catches it, throws out the runner at home, and I think it was Jacoby Ellsbury. So 94 speed. Throws. Now I got, I hit the perfect throw, but still to have that 99 arm strength to be able to do that and have his hitting stats.
Yeah, he's a god.
I think Larry Walker may end up being on that level once I get him Prestige as well, and he gets the 99 arm strength.
Yes.
I think they end up being a better version of that Bellinger. But yeah, some of those cards have been insane for me so far.
Sure. So at the beginning of this, obviously, I referred to you as Mr. Moneyball. The reason for that is because your channel is full of amazing videos to help people learn how to make stubs and get their own Mickey Mantle, so to speak. And you just put out, the last event video. You broke it down. You talked about how you could get stubs, like you said, with the cards that came out and everything like that. Now, for you, two, you know, it does make me wonder a little bit though, for the average player who maybe is intimidated by this thing, is there a way for you to tell them how to sectionalize? So is there like a thing that you think that the average player should go for first? Should it be team affinities? Should it be events? What do you think for someone who's new to this and feels like they would never get Mickey? Where should they start? Because
I think if I was, you know, if I was starting right now, I think the first thing I would recommend was some of those player programs, especially the player of the month programs, just to get like some sort of squad together so you're not rocking a bunch of silvers and golds. And then with that, I'd probably bust out all the conquests besides the USA conquest. I think there's a lot of good rewards in that, but in terms of like time spent to do that, I think if you went through and did the player programs, got a solid squad together, and then busted out all those conquests, all those free packs and subs and all that, you'd kind of have a, you know, a kickstart into kind of going wherever you want with from there. So, you know, once you have that, you'd probably have some decent cards, you'd have some stubs to work with if you want to invest, or, you know, at that point start knocking out team affinities. Maybe you have enough cards to be eligible for some certain events. You could start hopping on some events, getting some packs, player stubs there. So that's kind of what I would do, is kind of start with all those kind of free cards that are given out and kind of build your team at that point, and then kind of start knocking out some of the other stuff that gives really good rewards.
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice. I wonder as well, when it comes to making stubs from the market, okay? When you're flipping things, a lot of people, when I see online and stuff like that, do you focus on player flips? And here's the other side part of that question too, is do you think with the season starting that it was easier before, or is it going to be easier now with the season starting to flip those cards?
Yeah, I think that's, I mainly do, I don't do a ton of flipping anymore, just because, you know, I don't really have any need to accumulate a massive amount of subs, and I kind of prefer the investment side to flipping. But yeah, definitely when I'm flipping, I go for those high volume, not commons. Those people who do commons, that's a whole nother breed of craziness. You buy like 500 commons for like 3 stubs profit each. I go like, you know, I like 100 stub profit each, try to do that as much as possible with gold, silvers. I think with the season starting, I think it potentially could, you know, generally if there's the more people that are playing, the quicker the cards are going to move and flip. So if the season starting kind of brings some people back to the game, especially if they release some cool content around that or have some cool things going on around the opening day season releasing, then yeah, I think there would be a lot of people, you know, maybe playing the game, picking it up after a little bit of a break, and then that market starts moving again. That's why like some of the best days to flip are content drop days, because there's packs that come out and people go through and just sell those, you know, sell off those cards like crazy. The market drops one, so you're getting them up at cheaper prices and it moves insanely quick. And then there's like 7, 5, 6, 700 stub margins on, you know, some cards if you can find the right ones, and it's pretty insane. Those content drop days are insane for flipping.
Prime picking.
Yeah. Those are the perfect times, and for investment too. Again, yeah, I'm more of an investment guy versus flipping. I can take just as much time in terms of buying, and I just have to sit on them for a little bit to sell, but I can get more back when I do sell instead of flipping.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you're constantly putting out new videos all the time that talk about this stuff, and I think anybody who's watching this needs to be on your channel just combing through all this for this information, because even though we can talk about it here in a light, easy way, you're going to get way more in depth in those videos.
We got July Player of the Month prediction coming out real soon.
I'm excited for that one. I have a feeling I know where you're going with that, but I'm really excited for that. And
we nailed Mike Zanino. Not a lot of people invested Catcher's last Player of the Month, but that was one of the cards I threw out there as a potential one and people should invest in it. Catcher's got up, you know, a couple days before you were able to buy like a grand doll at like 1K, like 1050 quick sell value. He was selling for like 6, 7K the day of.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I wish I only invested, I only got like 10 of him and 10 Gary Sanchez. I wish I would have invested way more. Yeah, 5 million right now. And be insane.
See? You got to play that big brain game when you're out there. Absolutely. But yeah, so let's talk about your content a little bit. So obviously your YouTube, you're at 4,000, actually almost 5,000 YouTube subscribers.
And at 5K, we're going to be a little plug here. At 5K, I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm going to do a 12-hour flipping challenge. So basically, I'm going to start, hopefully I have like 1 million subs when we do it, and I'm just going to flip for 12 hours straight.
That is awesome.
We'll see how much stubs we end up with.
That's awesome. To see. That's going to be really cool. I'm excited to see that myself. That's going to be really cool when you hit 5,000 YouTube subs. So make sure you sub to this man. And then your Twitch, you're almost at 4,000 on Twitch. So my question to you really is this a full-time job for you yet?
It is not. So my full-time job is I work at a university. I run the intramural and club sport department for a small D1 university here down where I live. And that's kind of my full-time job at the current moment. I mean, you never know, you know. Sure. I didn't think we'd be, you know, where I'm at right now in terms of size on Twitch and YouTube. So, you know, who knows what happens when LB21 comes out or something like that. I mean, this was the first year I've actually even made an MLB The Show content. So to kind of basically started not at nothing, because I'd been making content and had some people carry over from that. But essentially at the start of this, I had like 700 Twitch followers and like 50 YouTube subscribers.
Wow.
So, and that was in like March, whenever I kind of made the switch to MLB The Show. So who knows kind of what's in store. I think it would be, you know, a dream. I would love to do this full time. And I think it's becoming more likely as time goes on, but
Sure.
not quite there yet. But you never know. You never know.
I want to talk about that because there's a real human element to that. So, you know, in a lot of ways, you start from the very bottom, and you have to work your way all the way up, and just talk about how does it make you feel when you see almost 5,000 YouTube subs, almost 4,000 Twitch followers. I watch your streams. You got 180, almost 200 people every time you're in there. Just how does that make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought it would happen. That's for sure. I started streaming September of 2018, and it took me 4 months to get 50 followers and hit the affiliate. 4 months of streaming, not every day, but I was streaming probably like 20 hours a week.
Yeah, that's a
It took
grind.
me 4 months. Yeah, it was a grind. It was a grind. And then, you know, for the next, you know, at the top before I switched to MLB The Show, I was averaging like 20 viewers over the course of a week, which is nothing to scoff at. You know, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And then when I switched to MLB The Show, the first week I averaged like 10 there. And then, you know, I put out my first YouTube video I did on MLB The Show. I had a couple of friends reach out to me. It was like, because I was like halfway to Mental at this point. This was maybe like early April, and I was making some good progress, or at least like a couple divisions down. They're like, yo, how are you making subs? Like, what are you doing? I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make a YouTube video on it, and y'all can watch that. And then, you know, I remember I woke up the next day and I had like 150 views. I was like, whoa, that's insane. Like, how does it have that many views?
I know that feeling.
And then, you know, one thing kind of led to the next, and then kept popping out videos. And then the how to get Mantle no money spent videos, what really kind of put things in the next gear, because I think it's at like 60K views now.
60,000 views on that video.
And of course, you know, it's all a circle, right? So people, you know, YouTube's a very discoverable platform compared to Twitch, which is a great thing. So people discover the YouTube videos, and then, you know, I plug the Twitch in there, so then they come see the Twitch. And then you're higher up in the directory, so more people searching through Twitch are gonna find you there. And then those people are gonna go back to the YouTube videos. Yep. It's all just kind of circles around with each other.
Yeah, that's the textbook way to grow your content. So if you're somebody who's brand new to all of this, that's exactly how to do it. It's to the T right there. So
yeah. The second week of March, I averaged 10 viewers, and then so far in July right now, we're averaging like 180, 190,
which is just incredible, man.
So
it's so
just
cool
a handful of months there.
Yeah, that's just so cool to see. I'll be honest with you, and then I get it. You know, like me, when I go to stream, I get 5 to 10 viewers, and I can't tell you how thrilled I am just to be chatting with people. You know what I mean? It's just fun.
I remember this was like December when I first started streaming. I did a like an 8 or 9 hour stream. It was the longest stream I'd done at that time, and I think I had 10 chat messages the entire stream. I think 5 of them were like from my channel bot that I have, just like, you know, sending out random stuff.
Been there, done that. Yep.
Yeah. So it's I mean, everybody starts somewhere, man. Everybody starts somewhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's talk about the new series you just put out there.
Yeah.
It's an exciting one. A lot of people are doing this. It seems to be kind of a bit of a trend. You've got like Daddy Dimmu, Steal a Star. You've got Cougs as Angel in the outfield, so on and so forth. There's a bunch of people doing this, but yours is just a little bit more unique, and I really like. Yeah, it's really cool. You've named it Moneyball. Talk about the series.
Yeah, so essentially, kind of like those other series that you pointed out. This, you know, the episodes are going to start off. We kind of have our base squad that we start with, and every episode we're going to get a chance to upgrade it, kind of through a random wheel spin. We win, we keep the card. We lose the card. Kind of like I don't know if you've ever watched any Madden Ultimate Team, but MMG, he has this Wheel of Mutt series, and that was kind of part of the inspiration as well.
Okay, sure.
And I was like, okay, well, obviously, you know, I don't just want to like rip off someone else is doing. How do I make it unique? And so I kind of got to think. I was like, okay, well, the channel's all based around like investments and flipping and making subs. So at the end of every episode, we then spin another wheel, and based off that, I go in the market and I flip for 30 minutes, or I flip for an hour, or I do some investments or something with that. And then with those subs that I earn from doing that, I can then go and upgrade my squad further. So it's kind of a way we're able to play along, we're able to upgrade the squad, but then it's also, for anyone watching, it's kind of shows what kind of upgrades you can make to your squad. If you just have a little bit of time, if you just have a little bit of subs, you know, kind of what moves I make with, if I have 20K stubs to go spend and upgrade my player with kind of a base team, what kind of cards am I looking at? What am I doing with? And what are my strategies for kind of accumulating those subs to begin with?
Yeah. No, it it reminds me a lot of, like, I'll just go back to Sebrev when he did his Inside the Mind of Sebrev while he plays and talks through his games as as one of the top players. It's similar to that, except you're doing it from a monetary standpoint while also talking through your game. So it's just a really great educational series so far. I've really enjoyed it to this point. I'm really excited to see where it goes. But I do have to ask you, because you didn't actually touch on this at the beginning of the video, your squad started off with some golds and diamonds. It seemed like it was a live series squad. Could you talk about how you started the squad and like what that initial setup was?
Yeah, it's pretty much what it was. I went through and I think the best player was like Ance Marte, so nothing too crazy. But I went through and just found some cards that I enjoyed using at that gold or like really low diamond level. So sure. I think like Moustakas was on there. He's really glitchy. Chris Bryant is one of the better swings. I like Ance Marte a lot. Juan Soto, just guys that I really enjoy and like have good swings and I hit with decently, kind of that are more budget cards. So it's kind of like a makeshift kind of budget squad to start off with.
Sure, it's definitely attainable by anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Doing it. Now, in that first episode, spoiler, by this point it's been out long enough, I think. But that first episode, you ended up winning that game, and you got Kutch and Trout. So I mean, it's a pretty nice upgrade right away there. So that's exciting.
And that's the thing about like a guy like McCutcheon. He was like 20K. I was able.
So cheap.
I think I had 12K, and then I flipped for like 30 minutes, and I was able to have enough subs to pick him up and add him to the squad.
I was blown away when you were able to pull that off in just a short little. I mean, 30 minutes. It was 30 seconds with the way you sped it up.
Yes. Yeah.
So no, that was really cool. I really like that series. I really recommend everybody check it out. I do have it in the description as well. And yeah, so I mean that's kind of you to the T. You've really been somebody who's been that great resource for helping people learn the market and do things. And I really think you're really gonna go very far in this community. And I think in MLB 21, you've got a really huge opportunity again to turn around and do the same thing. Who knows what the collection reward will be next year?
Right. Yeah. It's only July, but I'm already ready for it.
You got to be thinking about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially if it goes cross-platform and we have so many new players coming in. One, they're gonna have to learn how to do the market. But two, from a flipping standpoint, a bunch of new players coming in. But MLB The Show is a unique market. If you played like 2K or Madden, it's a lot different. So there's probably a lot of subs to be made off their cord there, at least to start. But hopefully, they find the Ance Larmstrong channel and can figure out how to flip pretty quickly on if they're just getting started.
Are you excited?
And then not to mention, I think they're gonna drop some big legends next year too. Assuming that we do get Xbox, I think they're gonna drop some huge legends.
Yeah, they have to, right?
Right.
They have to.
Makes too much sense.
Are you excited to see all the crossplay, the Xbox and PC guys? I mean, it seems like you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not so sure. I think PC. There's some questions there. Hitting with a mouse, I feel like I could go 12-0 if I had a mouse.
That's gonna be OP. Yeah.
So I'm not sure how that would work out, but for sure with Xbox, and I hope there's like cross-play between those, and that we all share the same market, because that's just more players, easier to find games, market moves quicker. I hope those things happen for sure.
No, those PC players, they can be isolated. I don't want to play with
them.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't want to.
Sure.
Even though I don't want to do that.
Sure. I think you'd have like 80 run games every time.
Somebody's gonna.
Pitching's bad enough as it is. I couldn't imagine if someone has a mouse to line up PCI perfectly every time.
So I wanted to do. I was in your Discord, which by the way, if you want to get into his Discord, go to his Twitch channel, which will be in the description. !Discord. Join his Discord. He's got a really fun community. These guys really just love the game, and Ance is very active in the Discord, so it's really cool because you get to have kind of a personal connection, and I think it's just a really, really cool Discord. So with that though, you have a sub league. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, we did have a sub league. It's kind of I think one of the great things about this year is that there's a ton of content, and one of the bad things about this year is that there's a ton of content. So we got to the playoffs of the sub league, and then it was just we couldn't get anybody to get games together, because we had a couple people who had just quit playing because some of the gameplay issues, and everybody else is like, I'm trying to grind out this, I'm trying to grind out that, I'm doing this. I know like my big things are the inning programs, so anytime there's anything close to an inning program, I'm pretty much, that's all my focus, and because I try to be one of the first people to complete the inning program every inning. So the day of the inning program, even the day before, it's kind of like preparing for it, and then the day of, that's it. So that's kind of like a week knocked out there, and then you have Player of the Month come out next week, and then the next stage of Team Infinity's here, or there's a new event, there's a new ranked season. So it's just like constant, which is great, but in terms of like getting in some of that extra stuff, sometimes that's kind of been a little, it's hurt that, so to speak. But yeah. I mean, we'll probably, I think instead of a sub league, I think a sub tournament will probably be what we do next, just because it's a little bit shorter. You do it all in one day, you knock it out, and then
I like that a lot.
Instead of having to be a multi-day, multi-week process.
That's wonderful. No, I like that a lot. lot. That's good stuff. I tried to ask your Discord for questions, and you know, it turned into a big debate. I don't know how this happened, but it turned into a debate about well, you tell me, is it caramel or caramel? This was a big debate in the Discord.
Yep. Which, you know, that gives a lot of insight to our Twitch streams because while we play a lot of MLB The Show, you know, while we're grinding events or doing the program, I mean, who knows what we're going to talk about. This is a bit of an off, you know, sometimes we get off pace a little bit. But the other day we were talking about like HGTV and, you know, Property Brothers, all their shows. It's just the same. It kind of upsets me, Property Brothers does. But that's a different, we just talk about everything. So one night we were talking about how to pronounce caramel, which is pronounced caramel. Now, but I know people are going to say, well, there's a second A for a reason. You say the second A, but it's just very, you know, if I slow it down, so you say caramel, right? There's that second A's there. It's just a real slide. So when you go quick, caramel, you know what I mean? You can't really hear it, but it's there. It's there. That second A is there.
I love that.
Same with pecan. Don't come in here with the pecan. That's not, it's pecan.
It's pecan. Okay. Yeah, like I said,
we have a lot of very riveting discussions.
You do. You really do. And that's kind of what's so cool about being able to build a community, and good for you for doing that. Once again, I just really want to thank you so much for your time today. It has been such a pleasure to get to talk with you, and I hope that you're willing to come on later on down the road, especially next year. We can go more in depth with things and talk more about this. It was an absolute pleasure to sit with you, Ance. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, I enjoyed every second of it.
Hey, thank you so much. All right, everybody. If you want to see your favorite content creators up here, you just got to let them know. Spam them, Twitter, wherever. Just let them know. I'm here, right? Thank you so much. You guys know what to do if you like the video. And as always, happy hitting.